Well, God bless you. Welcome back to Understanding the Times. I'm Carlos, along with my wife Yolanda, and we've been talking about marriage and our journey. I've been kind of doing some series on that, just talking about our journey, where we've been in the process of our marriage, and having been married for a little while now. We were both young when we got married, and there were those who thought we wouldn't make it, wouldn't survive. But yet here we are, some over 46 years later. So for that, we're certainly grateful and thankful to the Lord. He really deserves the credit. While, we give all glory and honor to God, there are some things we've had to do, some adjustments we've had to make, some things we've had to learn, and some things that we've had to discover. And we just found kind of sharing with you guys our journey around that in hopes that it may minister or speak to or help someone out there. Um, and so Yolanda's here. She's here to talk about it. Our journey. She's been doing such a great job. I think me and the sisters appreciate what she's been saying, and I've been kind of asking questions because I think they can appreciate her more than the brothers can appreciate me, because men don't oftentimes. The other thing about us, we don't want to be told, we don't want to receive instructions. Sometimes very well because we feel and think that we know. But we want to benefit, but even to help from a man's perspective, to help the brothers, what comes from her, help husbands and help wives, and what comes from me can help wives and help men as well. So that's our process. Yolanda, you want to greet the people and then we'll get started here.
Well, welcome to our marriage journey. Again, I agree with my husband. Hopefully, we get to help someone and encourage someone to not give up on your marriage. If both parties are willing to fight, it can be done.
That's good. You say that. I was with someone on yesterday. It's a minister, and he and I was spending some time together. We are just kind of talking, and I was sharing with him that we do this. Was not aware of it, and he was asking what caused us to stay together for so long. He said, "I know it's probably your love for each other, but then the ups and the downs, the trials and the tests, and how do you survive those things?" And I said to him, "That's true. It was our love, but it was also our love for God first and foremost, working through the process." But I said there were some decisions that we made early on, and as you said, how to survive it. And one of the things I think that really helped us is that we had kind of decided early on that divorce was not an option. It was just not an option. And so if divorce was not an option, then when things came up and it became difficult or hard or tough, well, we couldn't look to divorce because we ruled that out as being an option early on. So if it's not an option, it can't be an option. And so as a result of that, we had to find means and ways by which to work through that process. And I think for each couple, it may be different. And you have to
Yeah.
make that discovery. But I think it's important that you understand that. Those were just some things that we decided. And there was one other thing I shared with him that we had decided to do, wherever we were in our marriages as relates to the difficulties, problems, or troubles. We would not discuss those things with our family.
Right.
You wouldn't talk with your family concerning me. I wouldn't talk with my family concerning you, because we already know they're biased.
Gonna take
We
my
know
side.
your family's going to take your
Yeah.
side. Your sister's going to go with you,
Yes.
and
My
even on
mom, not
things,
so much at
your
the
mom
time.
would too, but not as
Not as
much as
much
your
as she was.
siblings,
Yeah.
right? And your brother probably would, your eldest. But same thing with my family. We know my family took my side early on.
From the jump, from the jump street.
Oh wow, that's part of the journey, isn't it? You were really at
Them
you were
in-law things.
oh
We'll
you
talk about them at a later
yeah,
time.
you were
Them
at fault.
in-laws.
You were really at fault, and you were told you were at fault.
Okay.
But nevertheless, so we kind of made those two commitments, two things that we wouldn't do. And I think for the most part over the years, we maintained that. We've not incorporated our family on either from either end,
Good or
and
bad, good,
right,
bad, other ugly.
and so divorce has not been an option
Yeah.
either. So
It's
whenever
been
we
thought about though.
oh yeah, for sure, but it's not an option. It's been ruled out. It's been canceled out. It's been made void and of no effect. It can't be affected.
And not with us.
So I just wanted to say that because you mentioned about what it takes to stay together. And those are just a couple of things because he asked that question.
Well, I want
And
to ask, is love enough? Sorry, y'all, we outside in the nets. But
is love enough?
is love enough? Is love enough?
I think love is enough. I really do think that it's enough. but I think we have to understand love. And I say that from this premise, the Bible said, "For God so loved the world that He gave." It was because of His love that He had for us and has for us that caused Him to do what He did, and it was sufficient and ample enough to redeem us and to deliver us. While some won't benefit from that, uh, but it is enough. At the same time, I think first and foremost, the love that we have for Him and then the love that we have for each other. But we have to grow in that. It has to be developed. I think we said that even on last week. I think last podcast we talked about that sometimes love has to be developed because it has to be proven, it has to be tried, and has to be tested. Because oftentimes people get married because they want to get married because they love one another.
But they say they fall out of love. So that's why I'm asking, is love enough?
Well, because folks are not really in love, because we're not necessarily in love as relates to agape, what we know as agape,
Unconditional. There's
unconditional
no
love.
conditions
Right,
to
it's not conditioned based on any conditions.
anything you do or don't do.
Right. You can't
Okay.
earn it and you can't lose it. And I think every other love that we have has to be ground. We know that there are different type of love. There's agape, there's eros,
sensual,
which is sensual love. Then there's
filial, brotherly
filial,
love,
which is
brother to
brotherly
brother.
love, which is why Philadelphia is called the city of brotherly love. Philadelphia, Philios. And then there's
Starcho, something like that. That's
yeah,
like a mother into a
yeah,
child and
yes,
son to, yeah, that kind of a
relationship. And then
relationship.
there are some others, but there's probably four basic
Well,
or five basic, but all of them must be grounded in agape. And if they're not grounded in agape and have agape as the foundation where it's unconditional, then those other loves you can lose and abandon and forfeit and give up. So I think that's the difference. So I say it is enough, but most people don't have agape starting out. Most people are just infatuated with each other, love each other for these reasons, for that reason. And that's not true love. That's not the love that we have to have for each other that need to be.
okay, so when we got married, did we know what we were doing? We did already state that we didn't know what we were doing, but
Right.
how did we make it? Because there were some rocky times,
There were some rough patches. It was for sure, no doubt.
because you was this hard man,
That's true. That's
starch
true.
man. Now
That's
you
true.
provided, now you a fantastic provider. You give me your whole check.
Yeah. I think with that, I think and much of that, even the hardness, we talked a little bit last week about where we come from, our background,
Yeah.
how we grew up. And I think much of that for me was influenced by my dad. My dad was this very stern, very firm man, meant what he says. And so I adopted those ways without question. And so when I came into the marriage, I still possess many of those ways. But I think that's for me, that's one of the reasons I gave credit to you initially. And when we first started this, is that you helped me become a man and along with my dad and my heavenly father, because you helped me discover how to be a man in some ways that was sentimental, that was considered to be soft, considerate, kind, those type things. Oftentimes, those things can be considered as being weakness, meekness, and kindness. Those things, because you feel like people can take advantage of it, and so you keep people at bay by being this hard exterior person. But inside, I was very loving, but just didn't know how to
Yeah.
express it or how
Dictated.
to show it. And I think with that, that's why people suffer from, even when you ask the question about is love enough, people don't always know how to exhibit love or to show love. And I want to say this, because I think this is, to me, is so important. I think oftentimes we show love based on how we want to be loved or the way that we know to love, and not necessarily the way that the person need to be loved. We don't always find out from them how you want to be loved, because people show love in different forms, in different facets, in different ways. And so sometimes one person can be making sacrifice, giving of themselves, giving of their time, their energy, but the other person doesn't perceive it as love, because love for them would be mushy, kissing me on the cheek, hugging me all the time, and this, that, and the other. But that
Yeah,
person
be sitting
doesn't do
next to
that.
you all the
Yes.
time. Yeah.
And so it's so you have to find
Holding my
out.
hand.
Yeah, have to find out how your spouse want to be loved. On that note, because here's what I was thinking, because what we was talking about last time,
Okay.
because of the fact that I think you have to know your spouse, uh, about how to love them, how they want to be loved. and you have to know them because we were talking last time what things about me that you don't like, what things about me that you dislike or you like. I made the statement. I know it's going to be tough for you to come up with answers about things you dislike. That's going to be
Okay.
a hard
It's gonna
question.
be a hard
But the
question, huh?
easy question is to find things that you really like. I know that's going to be an easy question. So I'll let you start with the easy question first, and then you can try to get to
What it is
the
that I
heart,
like
the
about you.
dislikes, and I know some things there. I say that in jest. There's some things, particularly as you talked about starting out, some things that the heart exterior and other things. But go ahead. The ball's in your court.
Oh, the ball's in my court. What I like about you, then, now, past, present, and future.
That's fine. You're trying to call those things to be not as though they were for the future, but go ahead. Go ahead.
Well, I like your commitment that you're committed to whatever you do. You're committed. You're all in. You don't pretend. And I know that you say something or tell me something. It's the truth. It's not you trying to tell me what you think I want to hear. You tell me the truth. You're committed. You're a great provider. You and your love for me definitely this unconditional. And I used to tell you this. I used to say I don't love you as much hard as you love me. um I love him, but he all and he the little thoughtful things he do. He's always thinking about me, and he's always thinking about our son. He's always considerate, and I just love that about him. And for me, I love the man of God that he is. He's true to God. He's committed to God. It's not up and down. He is committed. I love that about him because I know that I can depend on him for spiritual strength and encouragement because he is settled with his relationship. And he's sold out to God because even much as I know he loved me, I know he loved God more, and he's not going to compromise. And I really appreciate that about him. Now, what I don't dislike, what I dislike.
That's a hard question. I told you it was she got to think about it. The other one, she just rattled it out. Just with one down, one after the other.
Okay, real. That's what we're gonna say.
Okay.
Um, now this is not all the time. Sometimes I don't like his truthfulness. If you can understand what I'm saying. Sometimes you don't want to be told the truth, even though you know that's what you need, or you know that's what they're saying is to be true. You don't want to hear it. His sternness sometimes because I'm the type person who wants to always everybody to be okay. I want everybody to be okay. I want nobody feelings to be heard. But that's not life. Sometimes people are going to be offended, especially when you tell them the truth, and the truth is not the truth they want to hear. And so that's the only part. But then again, I know that it's necessary because in the midst of all that, I know he's only doing because he cares.
But you've hurt my feelings before and stuff that you've said.
Your feelings be hurt.
Yeah, man. I remember
Your
one
feelings
time you
can
told
be
me
your
you
feelings
said
can be
you
hurt.
said to me, you said, Carlos, you acting like a little boy.
Okay, that was some cause of wait. You were
Yeah, you
pouting.
said you acting like a little
Well, you
boy.
were pouting about
Well,
something that went
that
down,
really offended me and
and I
disturbed
got
me and
tired of
bothered
it.
me. That really bothered me.
Okay.
Yeah, but anyway, but that was okay because God corrected me even with that. So it was necessary to hear it because the thing the Holy Spirit said to me, He said, "That's what you're acting like," and so it was good. Yeah,
It was
but
good.
anyway, I
It
just
worked out for you
so
and I, but
sometimes you speak that way too. I'm just letting you know.
yeah, I
Okay,
know.
all right.
But you know what? When in saying that we as wives do that, we express how we feel or what made us mad or angry or upset to our spouses. But then if they were to turn around, now they do. Granted, I'm sure there's some spouses who do turn around and say the husband is turn around and say back to their wives hurtful things. But women, we just let when we're hurt, we want to lash out, and so we'll lash out at our husbands in that moment. And sometimes what you say can't be taken. Well, sometimes you can't take back words. You could apologize and repent, but you can't take back sometimes the damage that they have done. And we don't consider that our husbands have feelings as well, even though they may not express their feelings or show them or see them as often as we would like. We need to be careful of the things that we say to them. Just because if they were to turn around, and that's one of the truth that rise, we need to admit to ourselves. We cannot handle the truth. Now, granted, it's not every woman I know, that's not every wife, But if our husband was to be completely honest to express to us how they feel, the majority of us, I know me, we wouldn't be able to handle it without being offended or crying or pouting or doing something.
That's true. You know, you say that. I thought back. We had a friend of ours used to sell what was the stuff?
Mary Kay?
Mary Kay products. And she had some things she was presenting to you, and she was telling me. So she had some stuff for men too.
For
And her
men, yeah.
statement was, she said, men have skin too. Men have
Yes.
skin too.
Yeah. They need
And that,
skincare as
yeah,
well.
and they need skincare as well because we don't typically think of our skin because we're noted to be rugged and tough and that
Rough.
type of stuff. And so we don't think we need it. But with that, I never forgot that. And I remember saying, men cry too. We cry also. Men just cry. Men
Bullies.
cry internally or within oftentimes, and we don't always express how we feel. We don't always say that. And so as a result, but we hurt as well. Things hurt us. As a matter of fact, there are things that turns us off as well. And maybe we'll do
Oh,
it in a whole nother segment to get to talking about some of those type things because there are men, particularly as we get older, there are things that affect us that make us not want to be around our wife, make us not
we
want to
talking
be
about
intimate
sex.
with our wives and those type things because of the way she can talk to the man and address him. And many wives do that, and men just don't want to be around. They go in the other room or they'll get in the car and just go driving. And women don't always realize that. But men are affected and impacted as well. And I don't want to get into that a whole lot. But I just kind of want to mention that and put that out there. And since you said what you said, and maybe come back and revisit some of these places.
Yeah, I do that
Because
because I feel like you're not listening. So I keep telling you over and over again, not knowing that it's bugging you, but keep telling you.
oh, absolutely.
Yeah,
And there are things we need to be told again and again. We
but
have
we
to
don't
be
want to.
because we're neglected or not do it or not see about it. So, but we don't want to hear it. We really don't. Now, you know, and you said that, but I guess for me, and I mentioned it in the last podcast about the fact that one of the things I really like about you and I admire is the fact that you're so supportive. You're very supportive. That's the thing that I appreciated, and you're committed to your relationship with people, and you're supportive of those relationships. And one of the things I've said, and I've said even to your mom concerning her and even your siblings, and the thing that I appreciated about, and I've said to your mother, I really appreciate because you raised and gave birth to some supported people.
Mhm.
And that's just a part of your family. Y'all,
Yeah.
that's part of you guys' DNA. Y'all are very supportive. If you guys are in there with them, you really support people. And I really appreciate that. And I really do. And I mentioned that last time. I was thinking about, though, even as it relates to knowing our spouses and certain things, uh, uh, what is it that you know about me or you discovered about me that I guess from a premise that I was thinking about this, what do I know about you and things that I can do for you that make you happy? Or and I say that make you happy because one of the things I enjoy is doing things to make you smile, saying little things, doing little things.
Being a
Just
comedian.
yes, just to make you smile or see you smile. I enjoy that because I know you love laughter, you love laughing, and just make you laugh. Uh, and while I say that, there's some things that I've learned and discovered and I know about you. And there's some things I'm having to rediscover. God, that's when you think you got it down, when you think you know. For instance, when
What
we
about change
all right, particularly this
though? Okay.
with birthday and anniversaries in particular.
Okay.
We've never been big on Christmas gifts and giving.
Yeah.
We didn't do that for
Valentine's and
years,
all those
Valentine's,
things.
but birthday
Yeah.
and anniversary was a major for
There's
you.
no excuses.
Right.
It's my in my book.
So I've always had to meet those two obligations, which
Hmm.
was not a problem. But with that, you would never allow me to give you money.
No, because there's no thought into money.
Right.
It's
See,
just
that's what
you
I'm
just
saying.
got some money out your wallet and stuck it in the
Right.
car.
Right.
What kind of thought to that?
You always required a gift that
Well, you thought
required
about
thought.
me. That means you thought
So I
about
had
it.
to think to see to
Yeah.
know what you want, what you're gonna like,
Yeah.
and figure that type
I
stuff
want
out
some
to be
thought
able
put
to do
in.
what I need to do.
Yeah.
Okay, that's fine. But then a few years ago,
Yeah.
7, 8, 9 years,
Yeah.
whatever, then you got where just give me
Just
money.
give me some money.
And so, not that that was a problem for me as far as being able to do that, because it made life so much simpler
Yeah.
that, hey, I can easily give the money. I don't have to try to figure out, I don't have to think about, I don't have to, am I duplicating what I did before? That type of stuff. I don't have to go through that. and so I gave you money. So now I'm not sure where you are. Now you back. It seems that it can be money or a gift that required thought. So those changes, when I thought I knew, then you change them.
All right, this is where I am. I want the money with some thoughts. I want you to be creative in ways of giving me the money besides just sticking it in the card.
Okay. All right. Okay. It still requires thought.
Still requires some
Okay.
thought,
Creativity.
creativity.
Okay.
You good at that?
That's fine.
All right,
That's fine.
that's what I want now.
Well, I think you have create that because I've had to do it. You have create that.
Okay.
But I'm just saying, knowing from that standpoint, in knowing our spouse, because and I say that because I realize I remember you used to have a friend of yours, a coworker, and you guys started off as coworkers.
Mhm.
Then she became your
Best friend.
friend, and she told you, and you shared it with me. And I never thought about it that she didn't want roses. She didn't want flowers. Well, you love flowers. Well, most men think all women want flowers.
So
So we'll get flowers, we'll get roses. Well, she said she didn't want flowers, she wanted money. And I come to realize that there are women out there that don't want roses or flowers, and her husband may be giving her flowers, and she really want money, but she don't want to tell it.
yeah. Well, we got to be honest. First of all, we have got to be honest. We got to learn. It was difficult at first for me to just say um what I want to or tell him what I need. But you know what? You can if you're gonna keep being miserable and pretending that you're happy about the choices that he made, the gifts he gave you, choices happy about him giving you flower, buying, and definitely don't buy on my birthday and anniversary no something for the house because that's not me. Me and the house are not the same. No toaster, no vacuum cleaner. Not on my anniversary. And
But don't we need a vacuum cleaner?
the house do I don't. I mean, the house for the house, not for me. That's not personal.
Because Christmas coming.
Christmas now you do it for Christmas maybe,
Christmas coming.
but we don't buy really do stuff for Christmas no way. That's not a big deal to us. But for my anniversary, but you got to be honest with each other. You got to say, baby, you've been buying me flowers for 20 years, and I appreciate you doing that because flowers aren't cheap. But I never really like having given. I really don't like getting flowers because they die. I've heard ladies say this in my girl. He be buying me flowers. They die in 2 days. I said, well, why not just tell him? She said, well, I don't want to tell him, and he don't, and he stopped. Men don't stop because they tell you they don't. That's not what they
Just
want.
find another
Just
creative
find another
ways.
way, or
Yeah,
ask them what
yeah.
it is that they like. Maybe they want to go on a picnic. Maybe they want to go on a trip.
That's good.
Find out.
good.
We gotta talk, guys. We gotta come on, husbands and wives. We gotta stop pretending. That's why we're miserable. We sitting around in houses with people that we have thoughts and ideas and things we don't like, things we do like, and we won't say anything. Let's talk. Sit down. Take time. Every husband and wife that's listening to us today. Sometime this week. That's me a challenge for you. Take your 5 minutes. Sit down face to face to one another at the table or in the living room somewhere and ask each other, baby, what it is that you really like. What it for me to do. What it is you really want me to do.
And be willing to hear
And
what
be
they
able to
say.
hear now.
Yes.
And don't be offended and don't take it personally. Really, honestly, genuinely listen to each other's likes and dislikes, and please don't take it personally. This is how your marriage is going to grow and be better. When we stop doing things and the other one's miserable about it, maybe you go to Florida every year, and I don't like going to Florida. I want to go to Tennessee, but you never said nothing. But come on, let's start being honest. Let's start being honest and let's start talking about it. Even if it's not for 5 minutes. Your man, my husband, you can give him 5 minutes. The wife that don't talk, you can give him 5 minutes. Come on, let's give each other 5 minutes and let's cause our marriage to be better.
That's good. You said something, and I thought about something you mentioned about picnic, and I thought about something we used to do. We used to make bologna sandwiches,
Yeah,
cook hot dogs, wrap them up,
wrap
and
them
then
up
we go to the park and
and
sit in
sit
the park
at the table
and just sit there and eat the
that.
sandwich.
Yeah.
Just eat the sandwich. You remember we used to do that?
That
Just
is
go
so
find a
long
park.
ago. It's
Yeah,
a
yeah. It's been
fading memory.
it's been a while. But
It's
when
a
you said that,
fading memory.
and I was thinking about that
Was
because
that before ministry?
it was.
See, look at that.
Ministry that was before child.
Before
Yeah,
children. We still could do that. We
yeah.
did that with the
We
children.
and we
We
still
did
do
that with
some.
him.
Yeah, we do some things. And I was thinking about that because I really want to encourage the men, the husbands, to take your wife somewhere, to take on a date. Here's why I say speak to the man, because it's incumbent upon you to be. The Bible said that husband is the head of the relationship. It says that husbands has to love their wife the way Christ loved the church. Jesus initiated the relationship that we have with him. He initiated it. He started. He demonstrated his love to us before we ever loved him. And so the husband's supposed to entreat the wife the same way. Now, sister, don't take this and go beat up on your husband and tell him what Pastor Odom said, Carlos said. Don't go do that. Please don't do that.
Don't
Don't
do
don't
that.
do that. Don't do that. uh, if you're going to share it with him in a very subtle way, as a suggestion. Why don't we or can we? But don't do it in a way that you're using my name. Don't bring persecution and warfare upon me and my life because you're going to your husband just browbeating him with something that I said. You don't do
Okay.
that. That's wrong. You shouldn't do that.
All right, baby.
So
What
with
about
that,
the husbands that can't don't know how to be creative like that?
well,
Or
that's why I'm sharing this. That's why I'm sharing it because it's a very simple thing. You can go buy a pack of bologna. Grant you, the price of it's gone up. It can be a little cost. You can buy ham. You can buy turkey. You can buy some bread. Get you some mayo or something, and then some mustard, and just make a sandwich and just put it in something. You don't have to put it in a as what's his Yogi Bear used to say. You don't even
okay.
have to put it in a picnic basket. You know, you can just put it in a paper bag or something,
And then not
and
necessarily
just
picnic
right,
something,
right.
but necessarily
Yeah.
picnic, but
You can go
something.
sit on your deck, go sit in your backyard, just do
Some
something.
yeah.
And I'm saying that it doesn't have to be that. The thing that I want to encourage the man with is set a date. Go on a date with your spouse. Go on a date with your wife. Set a date. Those are things
Dad
that we
is
still
trying to
do.
win her.
Those are things that you did before you got married. And usually the men initiated that. But then after we get married, it's like the man don't want to
Take your dress and
initiate
grin.
that. Sometimes you have to turn the football game off to give attention to her, to show her, because love has to be demonstrated. The Bible said, "For God so loved, He gave." He demonstrated the degree of His love for us by the gift that He gave to us. So and the sacrifice that was involved in Him having
Yes.
to give that. To give your time to her, what are you willing to sacrifice? Because it says to her, I assure you, I guarantee, it speaks volumes to her. And it says to her, you are more important and more vital to me than this football game, or maybe going to church or something else. Maybe skipping it just to take on a date. We still do dates. We have times that we do dates. We'll go
Yeah.
on a movie, or we'll just go eat sometimes. Sometimes our son will ask us, he said, "Where y'all going?" Well, we're going on a date because at the same time, I'm trying to show him for when he get married how he should treat his bride as the way I'm treating his mom. Take her out on a date. Those are things that we used to do. You have to do those things and initiate because we can allow marriage to become so stale, just the mundane, talking about the bills, talking about the kids, the going to work. Nobody
Grandchildren.
enjoy just going to work and wearing you out. You're tired, you're exhausted, but you have to make time for one another. And so I want to encourage the men that you would do that. Think of something that you can do. And as Yolanda was saying to me, all men are not maybe not as creative as I am about it, but find something that you know your wife enjoy that she like, and then go do that with her. At the same time, sister, I want to encourage you, find something that he like. Maybe he likes fishing. Just go
Go with
fishing
him.
with him. Just go
Right?
with him. You don't have to fish. You don't have to put the
Mm.
worm on the hook if you don't want to,
Watch a
but
football
just go
game
with
or
him. Watch
whatever
the
sports,
football.
or
You
whatever sports he may be
Yeah, so
into.
just
Sit
be
down and watch a
supportive of him.
full game with
Yes.
him.
And what he does, be
Yeah.
supportive of that.
Right.
So I wanted to interject that because
Okay.
you was talking about the picnic. I
Yeah.
want to interject about just maybe going on a date, taking your wife on a date somewhere to go see a movie, to go to dinner, just the two of you. Get someone to babysit, pay someone to keep the kids if they're young. But please do that. I encourage you to
Or
do
do something that you did when you were trying to win her over. I'm sure there's something special that you did in that period when you was trying to win her over or you was trying to win him over. Find something. It don't have to be big, just something simple. It's the thought and that you're willing to do it. And we want to encourage you to do that.
for sure. And then again, I want to say, brother, you should be the initiator of that. Please initiate it. Your wife would really appreciate it because for her, it's not just what you've done. It says that you've been considerate of her and you've
To
thought
being
about her.
important.
And so she's relevant and she's important to you,
Mhm.
and you thought enough to do that. Yeah, but so with that, but I was saying that because of the changes, you did some changing. But I know those are just some of the things that I enjoy doing, making you smile because I know you like surprises,
I
and
love
so
surprise.
and so I would do things to
Mhm.
try to surprise you, and because you love that, then I had to become creative because I say again, you helped me become creative because it wasn't things that I saw with my dad, wasn't things that he did for my mom. And so, but because you wanted those things and because you're my bride, I wanted you to be happy and I wanted to show my love for you. Then I had to become creative in what you wanted to be able to give that and to do that for you. That's why I say we have to know our spouse and know what they like, what they don't like, and what they want.
Thank you for the
Amen.
kiss.
Well, look, we could go on and on. We really can, and but we're gonna come back. It's not done. We're trying to just do it in formats of 30 minutes or in that neighborhood. But thank you again, guys, for joining us. Someone submitted a question. They asked a question, and we responded to that question. So if you have questions, just what do you do? It's not email. What is it?
I jotted in the
Just
messenger.
just put it in the messenger. Just put any questions you may have, and we'll see if we can answer those things. If we can speak to them about your specifics. As a matter of fact, there was a wife that submitted the question. Yolanda responded to the question. She answered. I looked at the answer. I thought it was a very intelligent response to her question. And then the person responded back, thanks so much. She really appreciated it. So we're here to help because we want to just don't want to just state what the issues are, what the problems are. We want to talk about what the solution, what the answers, but we're just sharing our journey. Maybe our journey can apply to you, maybe it doesn't. But everybody's different. Every relationship is different. But we're just here to help with some insight because we've counseled others, we've talked to others. So it's not just our journey that we bring here to this platform. It's even the journey of others that we've experienced in their relationship with Him, with them, rather, things we've learned, things we've discovered, and things we've spoken to them and to encourage them to stay together and fight for their marriage. We believe in fighting for marriage. I believe it's worth fighting for. I believe it's worth saving, but you
Yes.
have to fight for it. That was one of the things Yolanda said in the very beginning. It's work, and you have to be willing to put in the work. You can't be lazy. You can't be lazy. And so you have to be willing to put in the work. And remember, I'll say this in my closing. It just kind of came up in my spirit. It's never the fault is never the complete fault of the other person, of the one person. You bring something to the table as well. There are things about you that they struggle with as well. So it's never the it's never all of it is upon the husband. None of it is never upon the wife. It's never just this woman that God gave you. It's never just this man that God gave me. There's things that you bring to the table, and you have to just get the wisdom and the insight how to maneuver inside of that relationship to make it work. I was going to close with that, but I have to say this with that statement. One of the things God did when He took the woman out of the man and He placed the woman over there, and Adam saw it and said, "This is bone of my bone, flesh of my flesh." And God had took what was in him. It was in him, so it was one with it. And then God says, "Become one with this that is outside of you again. Become one again with this that was once a part of you, a natural part of your makeup, but I took it out of you, and now you must become one with it again." That requires work, my brothers and sisters. That's the point I want to make about that. It's not easy, it's work, and you have to be willing to put in the work. Well, God bless you. We appreciate you. We love you. From Carlos and Yolanda coming from our home, we love you guys. Y'all have a great day. Shalom.
Shalom. Remember, marriage is work, but it is wonderful.
It is